Bring back the panel. Susan Page, Steve McMahon, and Michael Steele. So let me put the question to you, Michael Steele. Chris Christie, if he gets in, he has taken some, Herman Cain has pointed out, some positions that Rick Perry found out is very hard for the conservative electorate of the Republican Party to deal with.
Well, and I think that's part of his consideration. He's seen what happened to Perry on immigration. He's seen what happened to Huntsman on climate change and certainly civil unions in China. And Christie generally aligns up with those particular points of view. So it's going to be tough for the base, for example, to excoriate those individuals like Romney and Perry and give Christie a pass. So when you're weighed in toto, I think at the end of the day, the press conference today is going to be one of, I really appreciate the love, but brother's not getting in.
And you believe this also because he's doing it in Trent. Like you would believe if he were doing it somewhere else.
Yes, absolutely. You just don't roll out your announcement for the presidency at a press conference in front of a gaggle of reporters. You got to have people there.
Steve McMahon, you were a pretty active guy back in the Mario Cuomo Hamlet. When I was young. No, in the Mario Cuomo Hamlet days too. And I'm saying, so even though you look youthful on, you certainly were. You were hanging around during the Cuomo days. How much similarity do you see between
He's taking the Mario Cuomo hand-wringing and making it seem like it was like a novice.
I guess what would the Cuomo speculation have looked like in the age of Twitter?
Oh my God! So I mean, Mario Cuomo didn't take himself out 15 times and then put himself back in. He took himself out once. I mean, Sherman-esque was actually
meant something back
that time, and it doesn't seem to mean anything anymore.
Susan Page, I mean, if Chris Christie does jump in, is he competing with Rick Perry as the anti-Romney, or is he competing with Romney as the other establishment?
Well, his strength, I mean, he's got some weaknesses with positions he's taken, but his strength is that he could play in both fields. But I do think if he does jump in, the race is to be against Romney. Romney is the tortoise in this race, slow and steady. We've had like 3 hairs in a row. So I think that actually what we're going to end up with 2 finalists, and one of them is going to be Mitt Romney.
Go ahead.
Well, I think it's interesting because I understood the Perry rationale. He was the guy who said, I'm the job creator, 1 out of every 4 jobs created in this country.
The job creator, but I'm also a Tea Party guy.
In New Jersey, the unemployment rate is 9.4%, which is higher than here. The crime rate, the violent crime rate is increasing at 3 times the national average. He has no narrative. And he's got these problems that Michael pointed out.
It's just being a straight talker. But
well, yeah, but I mean, come on, a straight talker. I mean, people are interested in the economy and jobs and creating them.
No, I agree with you.
And
I think Christie ultimately wants to put down a legacy of turning around New Jersey and making it a story for America, and you don't get that done in 18 to 24 months.
Let's quickly talk about Herman Cain. On the polls say he's a contender, a serious contender. His campaign schedule says not serious contender. What do you say?
Is Cain able?
It's Cain able. I think Cain is very able, but I'm a little bit surprised about the time off, the 2 weeks to go push the book that he's got out right now, which speaks to your point about the schedule. I think he is able. I think there's a real affection for what he has to say within the grassroots of the party that's caught on, and people feel freed up now. You mean, oh, I don't have to be beholden to the others who have fallen. I can shop around.
Rick Perry's campaign, is it how
he's halved his support in just 2 or 3 weeks. He's in very bad shape. I think he's on life support.
How's he handled this race?
You know, he started out with this huge advantage, which he's frittered away, but I wouldn't count him out. He's got lots of interpersonal political skills. He's got to figure out a way to deal with this immigration issue, though, because Mitt Romney is just hammering about it.
And what about this racial issue? How did Herman Cain handle it, and how's Rick Perry handle it?
I think Perry just to step out and say, hey, The Rock was The Rock, and we dealt with The Rock. And I think Cain, by raising it again, raised his profile. But once you raise it, you don't back off of it. You stand the ground.
He backed off yesterday.
He backed off a little bit yesterday. You got to stand there because it's a very important
Where's everybody
point.
else in the Republican Party, though? Why hasn't there been a broader denunciation? I mean, this is, frankly, pretty outrageous.
All right, shameless plug time. Susan Page, I'll start with you.
Fun fact from the USA Today Gallup poll. Do you think there are more self-proclaimed liberals or Tea Party supporters in the American electorate? What do you think?
I will say self-proclaimed liberals.
Tea Party.
Tea Party.
21% to 21%. Who has more influence in American politics right now?
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah,
We've been talking about who can win a general election against the president. There's a purple poll at purplestrategies.com. 12 states, the ones that flip back and forth, and it's got some interesting stuff. Mitt Romney loses to the president. Mitt Romney defeats the president by 2 in those states, and Rick Perry doesn't really compete.
Interesting.
My shameless plug is for charter school up in Philadelphia, Esperanza Charter School. They're doing a great job with kids, turning around lives and helping folks. And Luis Cortez and others up there are doing a wonderful job.
All right. Thank you all. That's it for this edition.